Welcome everyone to another live video here on Newcastle Fans TV. We are it, the Angel of the North, where we get our inspiration from our logo from. Literally as you drive up the A1, you hit Tyneside, you now you're home. So, transfers we are talking about today. Get your comments coming in, smash that like as we wait to go live. We are talking all things about Vlachodimos heading out on loan. Number 21 goalkeeper Aiden Harris has went out on loan. We're interested in a Leicester centre midfielder. What's going on with Yoane Vissa? It's quite quiet today. And of course, Malick Thiaw is currently on Tyneside, just a couple of miles away from here, undergoing a medical. So as we count down, everyone, get your comments coming in. I'm going to run back home. Am I going to run back home? No. I'm going to get in the car and go back home. Chat yous back on the laptop when I get in. Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Newcastle Fans TV. So that was me a little bit earlier on up at the Angel of the North when I was taking the dog for a walk. I hope you're doing all right. Evening to you all. So great to see you all. We are live on YouTube and we're also live on Twitch this evening. So we're going to talk about the last 24 hours or so with the news, of course. And you would have seen it in the little countdown that we did there regarding some stories that we are going to talk about today. And get your comments coming in. We can see loads coming in, so hello to you all as well. On the agenda today, as you've seen on the intro there, Vlachodimos, Aiden Harris is also headed out on loan. Trippier has been linked to a move to Monaco. What's happened with Vissa? Malick Thiaw is obviously already in the training ground earlier on today. And we'll have a look at the Leicester midfielder who were also linked, and we'll have a look at some comparisons. Ooh, fancy! So hope you're doing all right. So you know what I do, drop us a like. Welcome everyone. Good to see you all. Dylan, Dale, Les, Wolfson, Geordie Toon for Life, Gary, all in the chat. We're going to come back to the chat as per usual because I like to interact with you, get you involved as per usual. But we are going to start off with the share screen facility. We're going to take a look at over on our Facebook page, Newcastle Fans TV. So, earlier on this morning, Malick Thiaw was obviously in the building undergoing a medical and is expected to be completed very shortly. I expect that probably tomorrow now. The fee is believed to be just under 35 million with add-ons included in that price. So that's obviously well documented. There's been a few kids up at the training ground today hanging around there doing bits and bobs, just waiting to get a glimpse of them. So, so we've obviously seen that as well. And a lot of comments have come in on Facebook regarding that as well, saying, look, it's good news. I think it's good news in general because we needed a lift, didn't we? To be honest with you. So, yeah, a lot of positives in there about the signing that is literally it should go through tomorrow, I would think so. Obviously, Anthony Langer one took a few days, didn't it? And obviously, there's no doubt about it. Chow would have done all these photos and the interviews and all that sort of stuff. Or if he hasn't already, that'll be done tomorrow. So that's the first piece of news. So that's exciting. So that should come through tomorrow. We can. The Athletic say Odysseas Vlachodimos loan deal, put my teeth in late, Sevilla will involve Newcastle paying the majority of his wages with no obligation to buy, straightforward season-long loan. We're just awaiting the official news now. So obviously there he is pictured down in Sevilla. That's going to go through. I don't know what the loan fee is if Sevilla are paying massive chunks, but Newcastle are paying the majority of the wages, which is a little bit concerning. Obviously, Sevilla are on a tight PSR budget themselves, but obviously Aiden Harris, our young goalkeepers, went out with Coleraine on the Northern Irish side. So we've had a bit of a movement now, haven't we, with the keepers? Obviously, Aaron Ramsdale coming in, Dubravka heading out, Vlachodimos heading out, Aiden Harris has headed out as well. So yeah, there's a bit of movement now with all the goalkeepers, isn't there? So yeah, so let us know how you feel about that. The Vlachodimos one should go through probably the next 24, 40 hours. He's there ready. Get Andy Carroll back in for 24-hour loan for Saturday. Go long. Let's have a little look at Get El Khannouss. Lee, have you ever thought about doing a collab with Toon Review on Magpie channel? We have in the past, just with me being back for the first, coming towards the end of the first full week being back. I'm just getting my feet in the sort of things. We'll be bringing a lot more guests on It's just I've only been back a week and then had the whole Salah Cup to deal with as well. Love the shows, Calvin. Brilliant, love that. Do Milan have any strikers? The only club willing to do business with us. Kieran Trippier should stay. He should retire here. I really see his Wolves soon. Yes, indeed. I agree on that. I think Trippier should. We'll in a minute, but I think he should stay for another year. Right, okay then. So we are going to look at a like for like with this young lad. So Newcastle hold, in inverted commas, strong interest, according to the Telegraph, in Leicester's Bilal El Khannouss. He has a release clause in his contract. The 21-year-old Moroccan grabbed 2 assists at the weekend. Obviously, Leicester dropped down to the Championship. He's picked up 2 assists on the weekend. Just turned 21. I had a look at him before. It was already in May, so he's turned 20 to 21. So, look, we know that Newcastle's centre midfield is a little bit, and I know he plays a little bit further forward and he has the freedom to do that. And he's at a fantastic age. And I've said this numerous of times that I've got every faith in Eddie Howe improving young players, including Malick Thiaw and that. But El Khannouss, obviously creative. I wouldn't say he's a holder midfielder or a centre midfielder. He likes to get the ball forward and he's very tricky. Didn't see a ton of Leicester, to be honest with you, last season. But no doubt about Eddie Howe can develop him. And if you look at our midfield at the moment, Willock's going to be missing for another, 4 weeks or so. And then you've got Sandro Tonali, Joe Linton, Bruno, and Lewis Miley. And obviously we've seen with the friendlies, we've seen Matt Target play there. Alfie Harrison's had a couple of games there. And we're seeing Harrison Ashby play there. So it's a bit of a concern. The depth isn't there because it only takes one injury to one of those 3-star centre midfielders. So yeah, I could see that happen. The release clause will be interesting to see what that is. So we'll come back to that a little bit later. And this is on about the Trippier situation. So Keith Downey's with this one. Monaco hold an interest in Kieran Trippier. No bid has been placed, and Eddie Howe wants to keep the former England defender. For me, it makes sense. Oh, there's the thumbnail for today's video. For me, it makes sense to keep Trippier because he's in an age now we're not really going to get much money for him, are we? What you're talking, maybe 3 to 5 million for someone his age now. And I think more importantly, he's good for the squad as well. We know that Lewis Hall will be left back and Livramento right back, despite Livramento doing fantastic well at left back. On a normal day, any given day, Livramento will be your right back now. I think he's jumped ahead of Trippier. But as a backup, that's a brilliant backup. And now you might say, oh, it stops the development of Harrison Ashby and Emil Kraft can do a job there, even all the way down to Leo Shaha. But for one more year, I'm all right if Trippier staying. Me, I think, obviously, he had the situation with his splitting up with his other half, which affected his form a little bit. It definitely did. I don't care what people say. It definitely affected his form on the pitch because he just went thumph. He was playing poorly. I just stand out Chelsea that League Cup game. I just remember. And then he's come back. He has come back, and I think he's a leader amongst the group, and I think he's an asset. I think he's an absolute asset for me. Let's have a look at what he's saying in the comments as well. King Monkey's gone to say, we're certainly on spending like we are about to get rid of a chunk of money. Terrace has gone to say, I'll take El Khannouss over Willock any day. Interesting. I'll keep Trips. He does a lot on and off the pitch as well, says Dale. Les gone to say, thanks, Gary. Not so problematic in midfield, I guess. And he's a classy young lad, Gary says. So those are the some of the links that are flying around today. Obviously, the news with but there is no news with Yoane Vissa, let's be honest. It's gone very quiet. Are any of you worried about that? Or are you expecting just bang, a deal to be done, just out the blue, to be announced? Because it has gone quiet on him. So I do want to have a little look over across on Twitter. So we will share the screen again for you. Drop us a like, Howe. Some likes off you. Drop us a like. There's over 150 audios in the live watch along here. So this is a little bit more on the El Khannouss link, and this is coming from a journalist who works with with the Telegraph on partnership. He says Newcastle contacted Bilal El Khannouss camp to ask the conditions on a deal this weekend, but the Magpies are currently waiting for some detailed precisions about the exact amount of what the release clause is by Leicester before they make a move. More news to follow soon. Interesting, that, isn't it? Very, very interesting. And question for you at home, I like this tweet to ask yous in the live chat. Jody Mag's gone to say, assuming we get everybody, Alanga, Chow, Vissa, Jackson. I'm not a fan of Jackson before any is jump in. El Khannouss and Ramsdale. Would that be deemed a successful window? Let me know in the chat. Would those? I would probably replace Jackson with a better striker, and then I'm content with that. I'm content because forget about what whatever happens with Isak. If you change Jackson for a better striker, I'm okay with that. Because it's all about, I think our first 14 players are fine. It's the depth underneath that's really concerning for me. So it'd be very, very interesting to see what you lot are saying in the live chat. Let's have a look, see if any have responded to that. It'll be the end of the month. They'll accept a bid. I'm past worrying this window has ruined looking at players for me, says Les. No, he doesn't. Sasha is a fraud. Is he a fraud? The window's not dull. Mister's gone on to say our recruitment team is shite. Why we're letting Howe run things? The 4 signings Howe has done are Asula, Kelly, Alanga, and Ramsdale. Oh, shite. Well, we made profit on Kelly, so that was good business PR. We'll be an okay window. So King Monkey's respond to that. Yes, but not if we lose Isak's Cherno about that question I was asking about before. Ian's gone to say Ben Jacobs is telling fibs about us again. Apparently, we asked LFC Liverpool. I'd say Liverpool. To bid for Isak. Nah, he's there's a reason why we've never asked Ben Jacobs to come on our channel before. I'll keep it like that. Jackson's not even that bad. Eddie Howe would do with him. I'd agree. I totally agree. Calvin's got the Cellar Cup was my first ever games at St James's after supporting for around 30 years, gave them North Wales. I hope you loved it. I hope that's a small piece of maybe getting more games, and hope you enjoyed the weekend, Calvin, because you always remember your first game. It doesn't matter how old you are. Mine was away at Gateshead, believe it or not, in 1995 when Newcastle had the full 11,000 across the whole stadium. Red hot day, won 4-0 that day. Dex has gone out to say Eddie Howe so stubborn, keep his tactical system rigid. Let him continue. No Paqueta, no number 10 players in the rigid tactical system. If Jackson, this is from Terra says, if Jackson indicates preference coming to us, I'll take him because he's got a point to prove. Hoyland is a bad signing for his current club. I don't rate Rasmus Hoyland. I think he's shite. I think he's absolute crap. But then again, every player who leaves Man U seems to do better, doesn't they? If Isak gone, not for me, not even an okay window. Dale's got to say, yes, all signings came in that good window, better than no transfer. Classic shade on Ben Jacobs. That there's a reason why he's not been on, never been invited, never been asked to come on. There's a reason behind that. Jessica's gone to say, I think Isak should be sold to Liverpool. Kieran Trippier. Mr. Scott say we don't know how big Kelly's sign-on fee was, so the profit we made can't have been all that much. Well, it was up to 20 million, wasn't it? And there's no doubt about it. Juventus would have had to pay a small loan fee for half a season, and they would have had to done this. I mean, like Kelly's laughing because he's had 2 big sign-on fees, hasn't he? Romano video yesterday said we need a bid for Isak again. Is that Liverpool fan there? Romano, yeah. Hoyland Ballon d'Or nominee after he leaves Man U. And Simon says after Jackson, don't sign him until after the first week of games as he's suspended for the first game of the season. Any news on Chow as he passed his medical? I think so. I don't think there's any problems. That'll be announced. I've got no issues on that. Loved it, says Calvin about his first game. The great atmosphere minus results, but it's memories, like you said. And say rumours Kelly to Sunderland. Sunderland is just signing everyone in a minute. Do you know what it is when I see if I get around to seeing Sunderland start line, and this is going to sound horrible, but I won't know what 3/4 of that squad are. They're just signing everybody, and look, we're not all French experts, are we? So, yeah, it's a bit mad, shall we say. Let's get back to the share screen. We'll come back to your comments. So do keep them coming and drop us a like on the video. That would be wonderful. So I want to talk a little bit about Vissa because there's a fascinating story about him here, which shows a little bit more of his character. And obviously I was criticising the way he's conducted himself at Brentford because he's similar, but it's not good what Vissa's doing at Brentford. Let's be honest. We can all say, oh, it's great that he's joining us. But let's be honest, we've got the same situation with Isak not wanting to stay at Newcastle. So this is really interesting. You should go and have a look at his story. After he was involved, Yoane Vissa spoke bravely in court after being the victim of an alleged acid attack back in 2021. And it goes on to say that I opened the door and had liquid thrown in my face. I screamed. I couldn't breathe. My wife called the emergency services and they told me to get her into the shower to rinse my eyes. At the hospital, they told me eyes were burned. Someone had come and rinsed them out every hour. It's been a nightmare since then. I panic every time I hear a noise, and the only thing that kept me going was knowing my children were safe. I had surgery on both eyes. Even the doctor told me I will need to use eye drops for the rest of my life. It took me 6 months before I fully got my sight back. Had I not been treated so quickly, the consequences would have been far worse. Since that time, I've become withdrawn. I can no longer tolerate being around people I don't know. I don't know how to express as much love as I used to. And when I'm walking, I instantly look behind me. And at night, I can no longer get sleep if I'm by myself. My kids often ask me what I've done to my face, but they are too young for me to tell them what happened. I've been offered an operation, but I've refused as it's part of my personal history. My wife had to see a psychologist, and she has suffered from depression. So that's fascinating. Bless him, man. It would have been absolutely frightening. But yeah, that was just something I wanted to share with you, because you can very, very quickly judge a personality, can't you? And that's heartbreaking. But thankfully, he's okay. He's okay, and he's obviously got a fantastic career being a footballer. So yeah, I just want to share that with you, and a little bit more on Vissa as well. We've seen this the last couple of days. I don't think personally there's too much truth in it. I think it's just been stirred a little bit, particularly from Merseyside. That Anfield Watch has gone. Some reports have claimed Liverpool are interested in Brentford forward Yoane Vissa, but he prefers a move to Newcastle. Should he be a target for the Premier League champions? I wonder what some of the Liverpool fans have said about this. So we'll have a little look. Hell no, too old, doesn't fit Liverpool's playing style. No, because him and Salah going to the AFCON. Let him join Newcastle. We need Isak. He should go to Newcastle, give us Isak. Yeah, I don't think Liverpool fans are great. Look, I don't think that's a genuine link. I don't think anything we should be too alarmed by the link to Liverpool. I think it's not particularly true, in all honesty. It's just a bit of Mickey take, I think. Cheers, Lee. Hope you've recovered from the hectic weekend. I have, Josh, and thank you for that live match reaction. Sorry, we'll get more of you doing that. Les is saying that's tragic. Gary says praying. Not easy for Newcastle to score goals this season, says Dex. Without Isak, Eddie Howe should continue being stubborn, playing without midfield player. Sorry, Michael Mick has gone on to say definitely there's a player in Jackson, but not 80 million, nearer 50 for me. So Vissa wanting to leave his home to come to Newcastle is a major life challenge for him. Ben Jacobs probably set that rumour away. What is it with you all about Ben Jacobs? What's riled you about him, the need? He's a rile gun for him, the need. Someone's asked a question. Someone did ask me a question. Where was it that I see it? Was it on the socials about AFCON? Obviously, we're going to laugh at Sunderland, but we do sign Vissa. It's important to remember that come the AFCON, early January, I think, away for a month. We're not going to have a striker, and that's quite a busy time, because remember, you've got 2 Champions League games in January. We've got the FA Cup start, and you've got a ton of games as well. So Newcastle definitely need to get the priorities right. So, yeah, awkward if Isak stays at the club. Do you know what? I didn't really want to talk about Isak today, but since you brought it up, and Dylan, I think it needs to come to a point this week for me, whether you start, doesn't have to be this weekend in terms of the game, but it needs to be a point where you make a decision, because we're getting nearer and nearer to the end of the window. What's the 11th of August? So you effectively got just under 3 weeks. It needs to be a point where you either make that decision that you're selling him, or you get integrated at least to the squad. Doesn't have to play the matches straight away. He needs to earn that right. I think come the end of the week after the Villa game, I think it has to be one of it. It needs to be one. It needs a resolution. It needs to be one or the other. You need right, Liverpool, put the money up. Here it is. You can have him. So we've got the time to reinvest and go and spend on a better personality who wants to be here. Someone who's like, obviously Isak was built and trained into this world-class player. Every faith that Eddie Howe can do it again, but realistically, we're not going to get a tier 1 striker. How many are out there? Kane, Lewandowski, Haaland, Isak, we're not. So we're probably going to have to drop down to a tier 2. And obviously I know the likes of Ramos has been heavily linked with, I say heavily linked, heavily wanted rather, by Newcastle fans. Obviously, same with Howe from Porto. Can he be the next guy to step up? We're going to take a risk. We'll have to, because there isn't many elite centre forwards out there, is there? Hit the like, says Ian. Yes, indeed. Jackson, about 35 million for me, not 80. Yeah, I wouldn't pay it anywhere near that. Simi says, please give the video a thumbs up, lads. Doesn't cost anything. Helps the channel a lot. It does help me massively. Lets me know, basically, when I look at the analytics, what do people like, what do people don't like. So that's where I get it from. So drop us a like for these lives. Trying to go live nearly every day for you now. get his interacting. Chelsea aren't selling him for 35 when they paid 35 for him. Pope, Trips, Burnshire, Tino, I missed that off. Or the team for Villa you're putting out. Yeah, Terrace's got our main problem is there is a few tier one strikers in the market. Totally agree. Did you see Simon Jordan's take on Isak today? Basically told Newcastle board to tell him and his agent to bite it, and if so, he's told. Brilliant. I think that's why I'm saying it needs to be a point now. At the end of this week, make that decision, sell him, accept it. Gives us a couple of weeks to go and get a couple of strikers in. If Vissa's not through the door, it should be by then. Or he's brought back into the squad, at least into the squad. How are you doing, Lee? I hope you shook off the jet lag now. Yeah, I didn't have too much jet lag. I don't suffer much from it, so I'm quite lucky. It's because I didn't sleep on planes, so I'm wide awake. Hi all. I hope you're doing all right. It's all about Newcastle. If Isak does not go in this one day, he will go abroad for next season. I think that's not a bad shout if we can sell him to a Barca or a Real Madrid or whatever buying, because Kane and Lewandowski are getting on, aren't they? How long do you think it takes for Ramsey to become number one? Do you know what? I don't think there's too much between him and Pope. I don't think he wants an out and out better than either. I think it is close. I think Ramsdale is better with his feet, but Ramsdale may have to wait 10 games to get in. You might have to wait until the League Cup third round to get in. He might come in and then keep his place for this season. I could literally see both goalkeepers playing half the amount. You might see Pope in for 10, Ramsdale in for 15, Pope comes back in for 8, Ramsdale for another 20. It could be literally like that for me. Yeah, Josh did well with the live the other day, mate. Love that, Simi. Love that feedback. He's in the comments somewhere, Josh, somewhere. Sell Isak for our evaluation is met and get Paqueta. We're going to do a comparison with Paqueta in a minute, actually, because it has been squashed yesterday. Right, I squashed that link down, and then Downey today has jumped on that and said the same thing, basically. So don't think that's happened. So Ryder was the first one yesterday to do that. So fair play to the Chronicle for putting that out. It would be, I would be mad at the NUFC recruitment team. Yeah. Saying it's increasingly likely that Isak will stay at Newcastle this season, says Keith Downey. That's from Brian. Again, same thing I'll say before. We need a decision after this Villa game. Get this week out the way. The end of this week, we'll have to, because what we're on Monday now, and by then this week, make that decision. See if Liverpool come back in or not. Because even Virgil van Dijk, I don't know if any of you heard the TalkSport interview, because I had it on the radio coming back from the beach last night, and he said that Liverpool need another forward. That's the captain saying that. So make of that or what you will. I'd rather go for Watkins instead of Jackson, says Magneil. Yeah, a couple of us have said that in the last couple of shows that we've done. And Terra Caesar says it makes more sense to force Isak to stay. Why should we pay 80 million for a striker? Well, we have a good one already. That should fix Isak's head. And Simi's got to say, if we can't sell Isak now, loan him out to a club in Saudi, pay his wages for the season. But then his value might drop. But then again, if you get a big loan fee for a season, I guess that's some of that towards that. And stop wasting time talking about Paqueta. Eddie Howe clearly doesn't want him. Number 10 attack midfielder is not in his head. I agree. I think that's nothing in it. I think the Paqueta's made it's by fans, isn't it? Don't think the decision on Isak made until after the Liverpool game. Yeah, there'll be condition though if it is done beforehand that he's not allowed to play that game. Just it's not good for Isak because he's asking for an injury. You're asking for the crowd. And it's not good for everybody. I don't think it's good, actually, for Newcastle either. We should sue Liverpool for tapping up. The damage is done. Do keep your comments coming in. Right, I want to switch this to comparison. Yes. So, this is between Samuel Agahawa and Nicholas Jackson. Because we know that we don't need to do a comparison with Vissa. He wants to come. We know that. However, I did want to do a comparison between the two. So let's have a little look. So the age difference, Nicholas Jackson's got 3 years on Samuel Agahawa. Obviously, you can tell by both of the lads, which surprised me actually how tall Nicholas Jackson was. I didn't realise he was like 1.87. That surprised me when I looked at that stat before. I thought he was smaller than that. I thought he was only like 5'9", 5'10", but no, he's actually pretty tall. Obviously, Jackson has a contract up until 2033, so he's got loads, and that's why his value's probably higher or being speculative higher because of his contract, whereas Agahawa has only got 4 years left on his deal, and then I forgot what year it was there. Obviously, he's won one title, and obviously Jackson's won a couple recently with Liverpool. Agahawa is the out-and-out centre forward, beast of a man. Whereas it does say Jackson can play left or right, but I haven't seen him too many times play left or right. I think he is predominantly Chelsea's striker, but I think he's not really well fancied amongst Newcastle fans or Chelsea fans. And this is the market value over the both the careers. So they're both quite similar if you actually look. So this line is Jackson. So this is his value. And if we just go slowly so you can read it, 30 million back in 2023, moves to Chelsea, 35, kind of stayed at 35 million. And so going up. So let's just follow that trajectory. Went up to 40 million and then 35. And then it's gone up since the last year or so, 55, and currently transfer market value him around 50 million. Agahawa obviously a lot younger, so his trajectory doesn't really kick in until October 2023. 6 million when it was at Alvarez, and then it starts to go up 20 million, and then obviously Deportivo Alvarez got 40 million. That's one of his highest, and then I'm reading the wrong one, aren't I? I am reading the wrong one. Right. I'll get back on the right line. So this is Nicholas Jackson. This is Agahawa. So Agahawa, Porto, 35 million, and it jumps up. We'll just speed past through the lines. 50 million is value. So both valued a similar price of 50 million each, which is interesting, isn't it? Now, if you scroll down, obviously there's the clubs. You can see who they've both played for. And these are the goal scoring records of both. Now, last season, of course, Jackson, I don't think he's prolific in 65 in total. Sorry, not last season. In total, 65, 24 goals, 10 assists. Is he prolific? What's that? 1 in every 2.5 games? But can Eddie Howe improve him? A lot of you are saying that as well. I've got no doubt about that. Whereas if we look at, obviously, Agahawa, who bagged 19 goals last season for Porto, he's played 117 in total with 54 goals. But if you look at actually Jackson scored less goals and played, another 58 games, roughly off the top of my head. So Agahawa has scored more goals. And yes, he's done it in La Liga and in the Primera Liga, Portugal. Whereas Jackson's been around, 3 different, effectively, leagues. So Agahawa, goals to ratio games, is better. And of course, Nicholas Jackson's played 14 games for his home nation. Doesn't look like he scored. And Agahawa's chose to choose Spain. So that's very brave of him, because he could have quite easily chosen Nigeria. But he's gone with the Spanish national side. Got a couple of games. And of course, his record at under 21s is pretty decent. That's just under 1 and 2. So interesting that. So out of those two, does that influence any of your decision who you go for? For me, it would be Samuel Agahawa. Yes, Jackson has Premier League experience. That probably goes in his favour. But I'm not a fan. I just think he's too inconsistent for me. I would prefer Agahawa. But then again, I do have my doubts about him. I cannot lie about that, because he's had a fantastic season in Primera Liga. But is he ready to be? Because if we're saying Vissa, are any of those two going to be the main guy? I'm not that comfortable with that idea of any one of those two being the lead guy. Evan Nielsen's a good striker, says Dale. Some of Agahawa goals were from the second division as well. Good shout. I think Jackson's as well. Jackson's played in La Liga too, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Is there any solid evidence that we're after Agahawa not being snarky? Genuine question. Well, I asked that question yesterday when I was doing the video at the beach. There's no genuine. I think Craig Hope and I might say Downey have put a brief one out, but it's not like a concrete link. So no, I don't think it's concrete. That's the issue. Isak scored 33 goals in more than 100 games at the same age. His Dex, great shout. Yeah, Jackson signed a Chelsea contract extension only 11 months ago. There you go. That's probably why his fee's like ridiculous, because of just how long his contract is. Yeah. And then Adnan's comment says, Sam, it does have every attitude though: power, pace, aerial ability, and shooting plus in the box finishing. I'm all right if you had him as a second choice. I'm just worried about what we do with the whole Isak situation, because if Isak goes, any of those two strikers, going to lead the line and do well. It's a massive risk. I think potentially out of those two, I think Howe's got more growth for me. Strand Larson, how about Larson, says Mick? Haven't seen much of him. Not the last couple of days in terms of links or in terms of the player. Did okay when he was in the Premier League, but I just didn't think Eddie Howe fancies a tall. I think he likes mobile strikers. If you just look at, do you not agree on that? Rather than someone who's different, like I know Chris Wood come in and done a job, but you soon got rid of him pretty quick. So, when we, I just cannot see it. I cannot see that. Sam was a younger version of Mateta. Mateta is again another one. We asked that question as a second choice. I'm not against that. Palace have somehow managed to keep a lot of their stars, so fair play to Palace. Another one, the glorified friendlies, I call it, but fair play, they won it. They kept Eze and they kept Mark Gahey, but I think Gahey will probably leave at the end of the window. Drop us a massive like, everyone. Khannouss is impressed. We're going to do a comparison on him next. The last bit, Isak has fallen out with the majority of the Newcastle players, in my opinion. Well, even Howe said that the squad are a little bit affected by him training away, and obviously he was quite close to quite a couple of them. Joe Willock in particular, he was quite pally with, wasn't he? And I'm sure someone with good heating would be perfect for the wingers. Good heading. I can't even read. What about Culamiendo? Link today. Yeah, I did a video on him. The 5 strikers that Newcastle should look at. So he was one of them. Again, not prolific in the Ligue 1, but could do a job again. That's the problem that we've got, though, with Luis Isak. It's all about if, buts, and maybes with a lot of these strikers, isn't it? Not sure Eddie Howe's looking for traditional target man, type 9. Is Sam a bit like Obafemi style? I don't think he's like that. I think he's more, if you look at the size of him, he's more powerhouse. But he does have pace as well. So a bit like Malick Thiaw at the back as well. El Khannouss would be a dream signing for me. Please happen. Agahawa will be excellent. Do any of you remember Julius Agahawa for Nigeria? Any is old enough to remember him? He used to do about 10 flips, more than Martins, more than Lawala. Do any of you remember Julius Agahawa? Bloomin' hell. We're absolute mad for the flips. The other comparison that we are going to take a look at is, funny enough, you just mentioned it. There we go. El Khannouss versus Paqueta. And I wanted to bring Paqueta up. Now, we're not linked to Paqueta because, right as I say, put that out yesterday that we're not. But there's a lot of chat amongst Newcastle fans that wouldn't mind taking him. So let's do a comparison between the two. So, Paqueta, 27, nearly 28. He's 28 later this month, whereas El Khannouss has only just turned 21. You can see, obviously, the nationalities and the contracts. Obviously, Paqueta only has 2 years left on his deal, whereas El Khannouss has 3. But what's important to remember is El Khannouss has a release clause. And obviously, Paqueta can play centre mid, left mid, if need be, but main position, attacker midfielder. And again, same as El Khannouss, exactly the same, like for positions. There's your achievements, whereas Paqueta's won more. Obviously, he's a lot older. Have you noticed that transfer market both value him similar? So let's take a look at that. So this is El Khannouss. Obviously, with Genk, just a young lad at this stage, back in 2021, 17 here. Didn't have a value until more or less when he turned 18, 100k, then 3.5, 4.5. As a couple of years ago, he was valued around 13 million. Jumped up to 25 after impressing at Genk. And then 30 million and gone to Leicester. So it's still fairly low in today's market. 30 million, and then around 28 million for them both, around similar-ish kind of fees. But you look at Paqueta's trajectory when he's at Flamengo, moved, of course, to Serie A, to Milan, wasn't a massive regular, 35 million. And then it's gone slightly down when he went to Lyon at 20 million. Done really well at Lyon. Obviously, he's pals with Bruno Gomes, 30 million. Still really young. And of course, got his move to West Ham. And then they valued him around 35 million. Jumped up to 45. Had a good couple of seasons. Jumped up to his peak, which was 65 million a couple of years ago. And it's lasted up until last summer. 65 million was his peak, but it's dropped dramatically. Maybe that's run of form. Maybe it's the scandal around the whole betting situation. Who knows? 55 down to 40, and again, That's what they value him at. So between the two, are you wanting to go for more experience, or are you wanting someone who can develop? I just, I said this before, and I kind of agree with you. I just think Eddie Howe doesn't want Paqueta. And now he's pally with Bruno, and Bruno's pally with Joe Linton, and there'll be in Brazil 3 and what have you. But as you can see, obviously, Paqueta's got a lot more experience than El Khannouss, 339 games, 58 goals, 38 assists, whereas El Khannouss is probably just a third of everything. 137, 7 goals, 21 assists. But interestingly, if I scroll up, where did I say it earlier? It was the caps for Brazil. I didn't even realise Paqueta had 55 caps for Brazil. That surprised me a little bit. That, I thought it was a lot less than that. But even El Khannouss, 22 at his young age. Remember, he's only just turned 21. That's still quite impressive. So, but obviously, Paqueta scores 1 and 5 for his Brazil national side, and El Khannouss has only got 1. But it's either experience or potential. Look, the reason why I just wanted to bring this up is because we're not going to go after Paqueta. That's been squashed twice. But I just wanted to bring a little bit of comparison up between the two. And look, I think Paqueta probably has more credibility, more stability, can probably command a game better. However, what you do get with El Khannouss is you've got age on his side, development, rawness, pace, and a lot more trickery. So, which one of those two are you fancying then in the chat? That'll be intriguing to see what you are saying. El Khannouss for Willock, both better than Willock. If we sell Isak, get them both. Where Uncle Fester, I'm not sure what that's about. It's West Ham, just crap last season, the whole team. It's okay conspiracy. I think a couple of people arguing in the chat. Is that what I've just picked up on? Khannouss for Willock, 9 attempts, 1 win. Newcastle's a massive club. Well, you're only coming on to say that, and this is the thing that that goes around. Have you noticed, especially social media, that the sofa fans always say that Newcastle are not a big club, stop trying to be a big club, but it's always them all the time who don't go to games to tell us that we're not a big club, despite us not putting it out there that we're not a big club. And I keep saying this to everybody, I couldn't give a shit if Newcastle were a tiny, tiny little club. I'll follow them wherever they were going. A lot of everybody else in this live chat, or whatever their means may be, they'll follow Newcastle United. Doesn't matter if we're tiny, doesn't matter if we're big. We'll love Newcastle United, and that's all that matters. It's not about sizing your dick up, saying my dick's bigger than your dick because I'm 500 miles away and I support Man United or I support Liverpool. It's got nothing to do with that. It's we love our club. Doesn't matter how big it is or how small it is. The sofa fans will tell you and tell you and tell you not a big club. But they go on about, oh, you've only won 1 trophy in 7 years. That's one more. That's one more than they've actually seen in person because they all watch it on the TV. Thank you. Let's go back to your comments. Terra says, let's have both. Interesting. Can you imagine that? We'll just overspend. David, I've missed that off as well. Les Noley, there's a Mackham mouthing off. It's a Mackham. I couldn't even name you 5 players from Sunderland, generally, because they've signed that many players, African players and French players. I couldn't tell you. I have to get the team sheet and look at it and think, who the hell? Granit Xhaka, Luko 9, Patterson the keeper. What's there? Chris Rigg. There's 4. Can I name one more? Bollard. Is he still there? Bollard? There's 5. There you go. I've named 5. Johnny's in the chat as well. Hello, Johnny. I've just missed your comment, so it's just gone off. Eddie Howe's never want to change his rigid tactical system playing without attacking midfielder. Stop wasting time talking about Paqueta, El Khannouss. Well, we'll have to talk about El Khannouss because obviously he's been linked today. The Paqueta one, I just wanted to bring up the comparison because it's a lot of talk on social media, but that's all it is. That's not going to happen. El Khannouss for me, release close start, only 21, so plenty of potential for Eddie Howe to work with and can push the starters. Yeah, and I think whoever comes in that midfield area has to accept that you're not going to push those big 3 out of midfield. I think Lewis Miley has to accept that, but Miley has his development pushed because he jumped ahead of Sean Longstaff last season, so he was effectively just behind Willock as 5th choice, but now Willock's injured, so Miley will have a lot of games coming up to start the season, Miley, because of the rotation. No doubt about it with Willock's injury. Other clubs are just jealous we are the richest club in the world. We are, but we can't spend it. That's a shame. Hey, Rich, good to see you. Well said, Lee. I'm proud that I don't support a traditional big club because I'm not a glory hunter. will be massive one day, but the bigger club argument is schoolyard kids argument. It is. It's my dick's bigger than your dick. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. And that it's like us saying to Adam at Bournemouth, oh, we're a bigger club than you. Do we go around saying that? No, it's pathetic. It's childlike. It's just kids who sit at home who've never been to a game in their lives. It's absolutely pathetic. Young Taylor from Ajax has been mentioned a few times. I don't know too much about Harry, so please enlighten me. I really didn't know much about him. Folks, remember to click like. Yes, please do. We've been live for 40 minutes. We are starting to wrap up. So if you want to fire any questions in, we have a do we have a busy week? Yes, we've obviously got Villa at the weekend, of course, which will be down there for you. I'm still undecided whether I'm staying over, probably on the Friday. I'm not sure. We've got a busy day on Thursday. We're down London for an event, and then the next couple of days we'll keep an eye on all the transfers for you. Both channels ploughing out content on NFTV and NFTV Extra as well. What about James McAtee? Not a bad shout. There was rumours he was going to get to Leipzig, and I thought he did when I was abroad. But yeah, young lad, we've been linked to him before. We shouldn't buy back, but we should buy players that can fight for a place. I know, but then you're competing in the market like we have missed out over the summer. I think we need squad depth. I think there's two things we need to. What do we do with Isak first? Because then you're going to have to get a first choice centre forward, and then you need quality that can be developed. I think that's a way forward for me. Obviously, we'll talk about El Khannouss. Is he the answer right now? No, he's not. But could he be in 3 years' time? Potentially. But is it better than what we've got on the bench right now? Yes. Because if you take Lewis Miley out that side, you're going to have to play one in the 21 lads or put Matty Targets at midfield. We need squad depth. We've got a lot of games. And if you progress in the Champions League, which Newcastle should finish in the top 16, and then even worst case playoffs, you're talking 10 games there. 8 games in the league, 2 in the playoffs. 38 Premier League games. You're probably going to have a domestic cup run somewhere, you would hope. So you can talk 50-odd games, yeah. So we definitely need squad depth. McAtee's going to Forest. Yeah. Good evening, Lee. I hope you're good. Chow looks decent signing, assuming it's announced. Not just yet. I think it'll probably be tomorrow, I think. Wanting to say I enjoyed Josh's show on Saturday night. He was really good. Definitely get him back on. Thank you, Frankie. God, Josh has got to get a big heat after all your nice comments about him. Bloomin' hell. Gallagher, not easy on the eye, but good solid midfield upgrade on Longstaff. Yeah, obviously played at the weekend. Did okay against her. How much though? How much you reckon you need Gallagher to come? And how much do you take away out that pot now with Saint Chow? Or going to Saint Chow rather. Dusan Vlahovic has been linked numerous of times. It's his wages for me. We're not going to pay that. We could pay his transfer fee, but it's the wages. We're not going to contribute toward that. No chance. And all the international games for Bruno, Tonali, etc. Yeah, add them in the mixer. And would you be against a loan signing somewhere for a season? Any is against that? Because obviously you've seen it with Lewis Hall. That was very successful. It's down the years it has and it hasn't. So any is against a possible loan coming in just to fill that void, even as a backup, like squad rotation. Because I'm not against that. If the money's tight and we're going to plough the money somewhere else. I'm not against that idea as well. El Khannouss release clause. Hard to say that, you know. Try and say that at home. El Khannouss release clause. Blah, 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 ends this week. Blah, blah, it's a tongue twister and a half. Mister's got to say Joe Litton shouldn't be playing week in, week out. He's not good enough on the ball. Don't know about that. Like, we need squad depth, but it doesn't mean anyone should be bought as backup but to compete with others. Yeah, I agree on that, but I disagree if Joe Litton's not great on the ball. Yes, the other two are more sexy on the ball, granted. But to knock Joe Litton out that centre midfield, you have to be some player, to be fair. And I like that midfield three, to be honest. Vlahovic is on 300 grand a week. Gallagher will probably be 50 million plus opinion. In my opinion, Douglas Luiz on loan could be explored. Comes with a package, doesn't it? Can you get Lehman playing for the Newcastle United women? Yeah, I think you'll have a flock of people turning up in attendance in Gateshead Stadium, I think. We have one loan. How many can we have? I think it's 2, but we can't loan 2 from the same Premier League club, if it is Premier League. I think that's the rule. I think loan signings might come in at the end of the window. Ramsdale on loan, of course. Yeah. One more, I think you're allowed from the Premier League. And I think I'm right in saying that. And I think you can't name more than 4 in your matchday squad, I want to say. Joe Litton is brilliant. Yes, indeed. original question: best goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, and attacker from Newcastle Academy. Imagine a league where players actually came from their own team. I would have said Aiden Harris, but he's just gone out on loan, so that'll be Max Thompson. Defender right now, Leo Shaha. Where we're at midfielder. Can I be cheeky and put Khannouss as a midfielder? Because I really do like him. An attacker, obviously, Sean Neve. If I'm being... Oh, you could say Garang Kowal, because that's an interesting summer for him. What do you do with Kowal? So... No, I'll say Kowal as attacker and Khannouss as midfielder. I'm being cheeky there, aren't I? But that's the way I'll get at it. Kenny Shirtley? Yeah. We'll not talk about Ferrari. We'll not. Disappointing Hamilton and Ferrari haven't seemed to click yet. And I know what Lewis Hamilton said about Ferrari whilst I was away. That wasn't great headlines, was it? We'll look at doing an F1 video for the month over an extra. I think me and Dale are going to look at that probably maybe the end of the week or start next week. We'll do a month recap. Right, I think we shall wrap up. So if you can drop us a massive like on this video, that would be wonderful. If you want to listen to this gets put on audio as well. So you can listen it back, or if you just joined halfway through or towards the end, I can replay the whole thing again if you want. But yeah, drop us a massive like. We're going to love yous and leave yous here on NFTV, and we'll be back very shortly as per usual. See you soon.